We're going to be jumping into what it means to be a multidimensional being, as well as
Yes.
how we can find balance here in this physical journey.
During the new age time that we just went through, there, it was so everybody was talking about kind of the separation, like no ego, and kind of shame, a little bit of a body shaming kind of thing going on. To be spiritual, you had to transcend this physical experience. And one of the things we talked about in our last podcast was that there's nothing unholy about being human. In order to even believe that, or to think that you have to earn your way back, is in a sense shaming yourself in this experience about what it means to be human. And that is believing into the idea or the concept that we are separated, which is impossible. We cannot be separated from the divine. The divine is in everything. So when we talk about the multidimensional concept or the multidimensional being, we're talking about the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. And I usually compare this to a table or the four legs of a table. Because if you have a table, it's not stable, it's not sturdy. If you have one leg that's shorter than the other or one leg that is longer than the other, you can't hold life's bounty if you don't establish balance in this human experience. And the Aquarian age is about integration. It's about integrating this knowing within yourself that you are this eternal being, and you can also live this human existence while being awake and establishing this balance in your life.
I find that to be so true, is like going into the spiritual aspect, since working with people a lot with connecting to their loved ones, we explore a lot about spirituality. And I find it's a common concern of how can I be physical and spiritual? Or I have to only be more, you could say like more of the worldly term versus the spiritual. And as I learned this concept of spirit, mental, emotional, and physical, it really brought into this new space of, wow, there can be more than I can be physical and spiritual, and I can be emotional, and I can be mental. I can be all of those things. And not only that, like that's what we came here to experience. And it's not just one or the other. In fact, when we balance all of them, it brings all of it into balance, all of it into remembrance, and it makes us feel more whole and complete.
When you are awake in form, you are so connected to your heart space. And we talked about how the heart was like the seat of the soul, like what Gary Zukav called his book, The Seat of the Soul, because this is the center, the energetic center of your being. And when you're centered in your heart space, you are choosing into a life that is a manifestation of choices that come from love. And when we talk about the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual, and we talk about what it means to live a heart-centered life, it means feeling that connection, for one, to not only yourself and loving yourself and feeling that connection to your creator, but also feeling that connection to Mother Earth and everything that she provides for us every single day, every moment of every single day that most of us overlook. We don't realize that we are living on a live being with an energy, with a soul. And in order to feel that connection with Mother Earth, not only is it wonderful to set that intention of connecting with her energy, but it's also utilizing all the things that she has provided for us.
Yes.
To bring our physical vehicles into balance, the fruits, the vegetables, the herbs, the nuts, the seeds. This is why we use herbs. This is part of the reason why we drink tea, and we try to incorporate the natural herbs and the medicinals that Mother Earth made for the human body to help the body come back into balance. And also too, we were talking about what it means to be a human in the Aquarian age. And as we raise frequency, we become so much more sensitive to the things
Yes.
that we put into our physical vehicles.
I love that. Yes.
And this is also the reason why we really emphasize a whole food plant-based, or primarily a whole food plant-based, is because it's not because, you know, we just can't eat junk food or this or that or meats or whatever. The reality is that Mother Earth made foods that are recognized from a molecular level as we ingest them, and they know exactly where to go in our bodies. They don't create inflammation. They don't create all kinds of digestive issues and mucus in the body, because the body recognizes those molecular systems or structures. It knows exactly where to take in the body, and whatever is not needed, it is released. There's no toxins that are left within the body. Now, as we raise frequency, not only do we get more sensitive physically, we get more sensitive emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Our gifts of spirit activate. And a lot of people say, gosh, I used to be able to eat this and that, and it didn't really bother me that much. And now I can't. Like, it just makes me feel awful. Yeah. And that's because their body's frequency is increasing and their tolerance level for low frequency dead food is decreasing.
Yeah, I think that's so important to look at, is if I'm not grounded enough, or if I'm doing too many sessions, or even if I have a very heavy session, obviously dealing with grief with people, it can be heavy at times. And I notice that if I'm not doing things, or I'm not eating things that are high vibration, I crave lower vibration food because it makes it a buffer. So if I have an extremely heavy session, I will want to go eat crackers and cheese, and I want to eat heavier foods. Like I might want to go get greasy pizza that night. Or it's almost like my energy's so open that I'm like, I need to slow my vibration down. And that's when I go towards more of the heavy foods, the carby foods, the more dense things. And even before sessions, I'm like, I can't eat a lot. I have to have light food, very easy, not heavy. But now that I'm focusing more so on eating plant-based and more so on just that high vibration, I'm far from perfect, but I can tell a difference. And it's almost like now that I'm at a higher vibration, I also have to do more after a session to close that channel versus wanting to binge out instead.
All foods carry frequency and they affect our frequency. When we eat things like meat, for example, we ingest those molecules that hold the information of fear into our bodies. So anything that the body was experiencing before leaving its form, the adrenaline rush, the fear, those things we're ingesting, we're merging with those molecules, and that affects our frequency. You can't ingest a food and not have it affect you on every level, the physical, emotional, the mental, and the spiritual way.
And even thinking about Thanksgiving dinner, right? Oh, you have the gravy, the turkey, the jello, the green beans, all of that, right? Instantly, and even while you're eating it, all of a sudden you're so lethargic and it's like, oh, I need to take a nap. Like that is an extreme extent of literally how certain vibrations of food buffer your energy. And so even just thinking about Thanksgiving dinner, how heavy you feel afterward, is every single day in small doses, we're doing that to our body.
You know, we're in relationship with everything all the time, whether we're aware of this or not. But a lot of people don't realize that not only are you in relationship to yourself, but you're in relationship to Mother Earth. So I know I'm repeating that, but it's just very important that we nurture that relationship. And just like any healthy relationship, it needs to be based off of respect. Let's talk about cannabis, because this is a big one, that big topic right now.
Yeah.
And it is a natural medicinal. This is an herb, that a plant medicine, a powerful plant medicine that Mother Earth created for us in certain situations, and to help with pain, anxiety, whatever that may be that we need it for. And when it's used properly and it's used with respect, because this is the thing, is that all plant medicine has plant spirit energy. They are actual teachers for us. in our physical bodies as well as our emotional, mental, spiritual. They connect with us on all levels. And a lot of people are not conscious of that. A lot of the shamans in the past, they were aware of that. They're like, cannabis is a powerful plant medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Ayahuasca is a powerful plant medicine. Peyote is a powerful plant. Tobacco is a powerful plant medicine.
Absolutely.
When we abuse the plant medicines, it creates health problems or imbalances in the body. When we respect our plant medicines and we use them properly, it does not have the same effect in our bodies.
That makes sense.
And people are approaching these plant medicines so unconsciously, so disrespectfully in a lot of ways. And then they're also leaning on those plant medicines in order to deal with your emotions, in order to deal with the mind. They're using it as a crutch because they shame what they feel. They don't know how to handle what their thoughts are doing or what their mind is doing. And so they become dependent on a substance or a chemical like cannabis and alcohol and food or whatever it may be.
Absolutely.
As opposed to using it the way that it was supposed to be used in the first place.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's also another thing that needs to be really thought about and really reflected on. It's like, it's not so much of, is it right or wrong, but why are you using it? Are
What's
you
the
using it? What is the intention behind why
it?
you're using this plant medicine?
Absolutely.
And so I think that is just something to be aware of. And, to kind of wrap up like what we're talking about as far as the physical leg of the table, that physical component of our multidimensional